Over the past 2 weeks, I spoke to over 30 tutors or tutoring companies, and literally all of them struggled with their marketing. They had no idea how to do any marketing. They had no idea what a funnel was. They were just posting random ads on social media, hoping that it would work, and they're just putting money and time down the drain. How do you actually market as a tutor? How do you market in the landscape that we're in currently, where there's tutors out there that no one even knows of? And it seems like all the students just go to the main tutoring company in each state or in each location. How do you separate yourself from the crowd? That's what we're going to be talking about in this video. And after this video, you're going to have 3 tangible tips that you can take away to stop you from being stuck with all the other tutors at the bottom of the pile. These were the top 3 things that tutors told me that they felt like they needed to do in order to grow, right? I'm just going to list them off for us now. The first one was hire a tutor or hire more tutors than they currently have. That was the first thing. Second thing was build a new website. And the third thing was hire a physical location or rent a physical location in order to do tutoring in person. Now, let's have a think about this, right? If the tutor's problem was bringing in more students, then is a tutor going to fix that problem? No. Because if no students are coming in, then that's not a problem with having a tutor versus doing the tutoring yourself. Your problem is with the awareness part of your business. It's the problem that not enough people are aware that you even exist, let alone you're actually good enough to help them. That's the biggest problem. Hiring a tutor is not going to fix that. And that's the biggest fallacy that I see with so many tutors and tutoring companies. And I've realized the main reason. The main reason is that people see successful tutoring companies and they see, hey, they've got a bunch of tutors. Why don't I just do the same thing? Where that's kind of the equivalent of having a Toyota and you see a Ferrari that's painted red and you think to yourself, hey, I want to be as fast as the Ferrari. I'm going to paint it red. It doesn't work like that. You need to fix the fundamentals of your business. The fundamentals of your business are the marketing and sales pipeline, which is the equivalent of the engine of a car. If the engine of the car is not good, then it doesn't matter what you do to the exterior, it's going to be just as slow. And it's not going to be as fast as a Ferrari. So you need to fix the fundamentals of your business if you actually want to grow as a tutor and essentially as a tutoring business. And the shift that you have to make right now is that you are not a tutor anymore. You are a tutoring business and you have to see things as a business owner. And the entrepreneurial mindset and growing a business is very different to the mindset of just being a good tutor. Because if you're just a good tutor, then it's more so just a passion project. If you just want to be a tutor, that's more so just a passion. And to be honest, you may as well just tutor for a company because you're more likely to bring in students consistently and get a consistent income. But if you want to actually grow a tutoring business, then get out of the mindset of being a tutor and get into the mindset of being a business owner. And if you're a business owner, then you know that if you're in the mind of a business owner, then you wouldn't have the mindset of hiring a tutor until you've actually maxed out your own capacity. Once you've maxed out your own tutoring capacity, then you start outsourcing it. But before that even happens, before that's even in the realm of possibility, you need to figure out how to get more students in. You need to figure out how to increase the awareness in your business, and then you need to figure out how to convert as many of those leads that come in into actual paying clients. Now, it's exactly the same problem with building a good website. If there's no one who knows about you, then there's no people to actually go onto your fancy website that you're building. The fancy website is not the limiting factor to bring in more students. Exactly the same with the brick and mortar setup. The brick and mortar setup is probably the worst one of the lot because you're putting yourself at a loss already before you even bring any students on board. And people think, hey, I'm just going to start a business and I'm going to set up a tutoring company and put it in person and naturally people will come to me. Maybe. Maybe not. At least if you're running an online tutoring business and you really suck at it, then the worst thing that you do is you just waste a bunch of time, but you don't waste that much money. If you really suck at running a business and you start a physical location, then you're already spending a few $1,000s per month on a physical location. That's not bringing you any income stream. I don't really see the point in it. So that's why some people just want to start in-person businesses not because they're egotistical, but because of ego and because of pride, because they want to have a physical location that they want to be a part of and they want to see something tangible, which I completely get. But people think that the physical location is automatically going to see them grow, which is just not the case. So what are the 3 things that you need to actually grow your audience, nurture your audience, and then convert them in the easiest way possible? Well, the first step of that is that you just need to have a way of students knowing about you. Now, this could be through organic on Instagram, or organic content on Instagram, organic content on YouTube. It could be through running paid ads in a certain way to bring attention to yourself. Now, don't get this mixed up with running ads to try and get people to join your product, because I say it in every other video, it's like asking someone to marry you on the first date. You don't want to be doing that. You want to be running ads to bring awareness to yourself rather than running ads to sell something directly. We're not just advertising a product here. We're not just running an advertisement for a chiropractic place. We're running advertising to get people to know about you and to build up your social media. Because not only are you bringing in an audience to sell to, you're actually building up your brand by building up your following first. Now, once you've built up an audience and once people are aware of you, you shouldn't just be selling them straight away. There should be hurdles that they have to go through, and there should be things that they can receive from you, and advice that they can receive from you, and resources that they can get that just happen without any strings attached. Because as soon as people see strings attached, then they get their guard goes up, and they don't want anything to do with you anymore. And it's just the way that people are. So what we need to do is we need to set up things in a way where you're helping out people, no strings attached, you're giving out content, and people, as a result, will really resonate with you. And this is called nurturing. You essentially nurture your existing audience, you build up goodwill, you grow your audience by doing this as well, and eventually there's going to be a certain percentage of those people who are going to really like you. They're going to like the way that you teach, they're going to like the way that you present, they're going to like your mindset, they're going to like your advice, and they're going to be curious about your offer. They're going to be curious that if you actually tutor. And I got a bunch of messages while I was doing my tutoring business saying, hey, why do you give out all this content online? And I'm very transparent about that. I say, hey, I want to help out people for free. I want to build up an audience. And if people want tutoring, they can reach out and they can ask me for it. And then everyone else can just get a bunch of free content. And it made me feel really good because I was helping out a bunch of people for free, and I was helping out people who couldn't necessarily afford tutoring, but the people who did want tutoring, they can reach out to me and I can actually sell them something. So essentially I see it as a win-win situation. You're building up your goodwill, you're helping out people for free, and a certain percentage of those people could be potential clients. Now, of course, this has to be done in a strategic way and proper way. So how I set up with my clients and what I did with my business was a very strategic route to not just have a bunch of freeloaders in your business, but to make sure that the people who are getting your free things are getting them, but there's a proper way to convert them from people who are receiving free stuff to people who are curious about your business and curious about what your product is as well. Now, the last thing that you have to implement is a proper conversion system that actually takes someone who's interested in your service to a paying client or a paying student. Now, the really critical piece of advice, and the number one advice I give to anyone who's doing any form of sales, but particularly in the tutoring space where it's so competitive, is you need to be helping people that you can actually help. Sounds kind of strange to say, but you can't just be taking on anyone and any person as a client. You need to make sure that they're a good fit for you as much as you're a good fit for them. What do I mean by that? If you have a client who just wants everything given to them straight away, they want everything on a silver platter, you might want that type of client, to be honest. It's up to your personal preference. My personal preference is I want to work with people who are genuinely hardworking. I don't care if their grades are stuck at 20%. I don't care if their grades are already at 100%. If they're not hardworking people who are actually willing to put in effort, then I don't want to be working with them. And I was really adamant about that when clients came into my business or potential leads came into my business. And I still have the same principle with my current business. If a business owner comes to me and they're not willing to put in work, they just want a copy-paste system to apply into their own business, then I don't want to work with them because nothing is guaranteed. And as soon as they think that it's just like something that you can copy and paste their stuff into, they're automatically straight away thinking that I just want to do as little amount of put in a little amount of work to get the results. That's of course not the case with anything. If you're trying to succeed in business, you're trying to succeed in school, you're trying to succeed in anything in life, it doesn't come coincidental. You have to put in hard work, you have to put in effort in order to achieve the result. So ultimately, be selective with who you work with and genuinely try to help them and see if you're a right fit for them and if they're a right fit for you. And if both of them align, then great, they can join on as a paying client. And when you're talking to students, don't talk from a frame of you just wanting to close them. You genuinely would just want to be someone who is helping them. And if you're a good enough tutor, if you're a good enough person to actually help them, then that is the ideal outcome for both of you guys. If they need the help, and if you can help them, then great. You guys can join. They can join on as a client, and you can be their tutor. I give you an example. Let's say if there's someone who you genuinely don't feel as if you can help for whatever reason. I'm not sure what the reason might be, but let's say if there's someone who you don't feel as if they're a right fit for you. They might seem a little bit stubborn, they might seem a little bit pushy, then you could just say, hey, I don't think we're a right fit. I can refer you to another tutoring company that I know that does a really good job instead, and they might be a better fit for you. You can come from that mindset a lot of the time. Don't just take anyone on as a client, essentially. And what you'll notice is that the more selective you are and the conditions that you put on the clients to come in, you'll notice that you essentially sift out people who you want to work with, and it amplifies their interest because they see that you're selective, and then everyone else is just noise, and you can deal with those people without wasting too much time. Hopefully you can figure that out before you jump on calls with them, so you don't waste too much time, valuable time on calls, and you could actually book in people that are genuinely interested and good fits. But what you'll notice is that the interest of the people who suit you amplifies, and everyone else de-amplifies, which is essentially what you want, because you want the people that you want your ideal clients, or your ideal clients who are potential clients, to be amplified in interest. Everyone else, it doesn't matter because they're not your ideal clients anyway. Now, if you just want the key takeaways from this video, the first thing you need to do is increase your reach and increase the amount of awareness about your brand, not necessarily about your product directly. The second tip is you need to nurture the people that come into your business. So once you receive a certain audience, you need to be just giving them genuine value without any strings attached. The third thing is that when you're going through the sales process and you're trying to convert your audience into actual paying clients, you don't want to just be pitching everyone. You want to be making sure that they're actually good fits for you, and they can actually get value out of you, and they're actually a good fit for you as well. If both those align, then great. You have an ideal customer. Everyone else is just noise. You can just cancel that out, and you don't have to spend time with time wasters after this.